هذا الدعاء أن الذنوب تكون سببا لتسلط الأعداء علينا.
We understand from this prophetic tradition that sins, dhunub, are a cause, a direct cause for things of a bad nature to be brought down upon us.
كان بعض السلف يقول إني أعرف أثر ذنبي، إني أعرف إساءتي مع ربي بتغير خلق دابتي معي.
Some of the pious predecessors, some of the Salaf used to say, I recognize, or when I have a bad character, or when I do something wrong in front of my Lord, I recognize the effect of that sin or wrongdoing in the animal that I ride. I recognize the effect of that sin in the animal that I ride.
كان أحد السلف أيضا وهو الإمام صالح المري من رجال الرسالة القشيرية من أهل القرون الثلاثة الأولى.
صالح المري.
نعم، أبو صالح المري كان يمشي على دابته فرمى عليه بعض مبغضيه من المسلمين الرماد، رمى سطلا من الرماد عليه، دلوا من الرماد، فلما وقع الرماد عليه ترجل من على دابته وخر على الأرض ساجدا، ثم رفع رأسه وقال لك الحمد ونفض الرماد من على ثوب.
One of the pious predecessors, his name was Abu Salih al-Murri. He was passing by on his animal by a group of Muslims, by a group of Muslims apparently who didn't like him. They threw a large amount of ashes upon him and dirtied his body and his clothes. He immediately got down from his animal and made prostration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, لَكَ الْحَمْدِ. To you is all praise.
فقالوا له ماذا تصنع من كان معه من أصحابه.
And so when he did this, those people and his companions that were with him said to him, what are you doing? Why are you prostrating like
فقال
this?
سجدت لله شكرا.
He said that I prostrated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of thankfulness.
فقالوا على ماذا؟
And so they said, because of what? For what reason did you do
قال
this?
رجل استحق النار فصولح على الرماد أفلا يشكر الله تعالى.
He said that the reason is a man that deserves the hellfire has been given something less in nature and been hit with ashes. Shouldn't he praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this blessing?
أعلم أن البعض قد يدور في ذهنهم الآن أن هذا منطق ضعيف في مقابلة الواقع.
Some people in this room may be thinking that this is a weak example or a weak logical representation of what, or the connection that we have to things that are happening today in our activities right now.
لكن إذا صدقنا في النظر
But if we are truthful and really think deeply about what we are looking at here,
وأعدنا التأمل
and we reassess our thoughts about what's being presented,
وجدنا أن هذه هي حقيقة القوة.
we will find that this, truly this, is the reality of strength, not anything else.
لأن بها سننال نصرة السماء.
And because of this and by this, we will receive the victory of the heavens.
الله عز وجل كتب الهزيمة على جيش فيه سيدنا محمد.
Allahumma salli alayhi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had decreed for an army that had Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in it.
بسبب معصية بعض أفراده.
He had decreed for them defeat. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was amongst them. Allah decreed for them defeat because of some of the sins and ill doing of a group and a portion from amongst the Muslims with him.
لما أمر الرماة في معركة أحد ألا ينزلوا من على الجبل ورأوا النصر قد حصل فخالفوا الأمر ونزلوا كتب الله عليهم الهزيمة بالرغم من أن فيهم سيد الخلق صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
And so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a command to the archers on that small foothill. The archers should stand their position till the end, until the Prophet ﷺ gave them another command. But once they saw and felt that the victory was sure and the victory was at hand, they disobeyed the Prophet ﷺ's command and they descended to seek after the spoils of war. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of this disobedience, wrote upon the army in which our Master Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in, decreed for that army defeat because of the disobedience
بل
of a
كانت
few.
النتيجة أن شج رأسه صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
And the result of this is that the head of the Prophet ﷺ was severed.
وكسرت رباعيته من أسنانه.
And some of his teeth were broken. ﷺ.
ودخلت حلقات المغفر في وجنتيه الشريفتين في لحمه.
And the chain link of the mask or the helmet of the Prophet, the helmet of the Prophet ﷺ, the chain went in to his cheek, the blessed cheek of the Prophet ﷺ, because of this event.
واستشهد قتل فيها سيد الشهداء حمزة عم رسول الله.
And Hamza, the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the great warrior and the great fighter, he was made a martyr in that battle and he died because of all of these events.
كان بداية هذا الابتلاء الذي نزل بهم.
The beginning of this trial and tribulation that befell the Muslims,
المعصية والمخالفة.
the beginning of this tribulation was sin and disobedience and going against the command.
حتى أن البلاء قد نزل بمن لم يعصوا.
Even this tribulation, an event befell people that didn't disobey. The other Muslims didn't make a
بل
didn't
بسيد
disobey.
الخلق.
Rather, nay, even further than that, to the master of all creation, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, it affected him.
وكان في حق من لم يعصي رقيا في مراتبهم.
And as far as those people that didn't do anything wrong, they didn't disobey, it was actually a way for them to be raised in their rank and elevated.
لكن هذا الذي حصل كان مفتاحا لكل نصر جاء بعد.
But what happened in this particular event was the key to all victories that came afterwards.
لأنه قد رسخ في القلوب أن المخالفة لأمر الله ورسوله سبب للانكسار والهزيمة والضعف.
Because what it taught the Muslims after that day is that sin, disobedience, and contravening the command of Allah is a direct result of all these calamities and all these bad things that can happen.
وترسيخا لهذه الحقيقة وهي نزول البلاء بالناس بسبب من يعصي فيهم جاء الدعاء ولا تؤاخذنا بما فعل السفهاء منا.
And because of this state, we also have another dua. Because of this situation, another dua that we hear from the tradition. Is that what dua?
لا تؤاخذنا بما فعل السفهاء منا.
That, oh Allah, please do not take us to account. Oh Allah, do not take us to account because of what the ignorant and unknowing ones have done from amongst us.